Will you call the roll, please?
Kathy Pucci.
Here.
Tony DeMarco.
Here.
Ron Van Kirk.
Here.
Colin Gallagher.
Here.
Katie Gallagher.
Here.
Kevin Tansky.
Here.
Tom Murphy.
Here.
Will you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we begin the meeting, on behalf of Brooklyn City Council, I'd like to offer our sincerest condolences to the family of our Service Department employee, Mr. Don Pesta, on the passing of his father, Mr. Donald Pesta. And next on our agenda is approval of the minutes of January 28th. We need a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
To approve, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Tom Murphy.
Yes.
At this time, we'll have our public session. If anyone has anything to say for the good and welfare of the city of Brooklyn, please step forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and please observe our 5-minute time limit.
My name is Dan Gentili. I live at 4656 Southwood Drive. I didn't know I had 5 minutes. I thought I only had 2, so this is good. I can talk for a while. So today, I'm here to start my personal campaign, and I'm asking for everyone to join in. No, I'm not running for mayor. I'm not running for council. I'm not even running for school board. I'm here tonight to talk about the levy bond issue for the school. For those that don't know, there's going to be a lot of information coming out over the coming weeks and coming months about the levy bond issue that we're going to try to pass here in the city of Brooklyn. There's a lot of interesting information that was already disseminated out a couple of years ago, and a lot of people talked about a lot of different things. At the end of the day, it's really about our children and our kids. It's about the kids that have grown up in this community, like myself, a part of the proud class of 1981, graduating class. It's our job as citizens in Brooklyn, as taxpayers, as homeowners, as people that support this city, to do the right thing for our kids. I would encourage everyone here and everyone that's watching on TV to go and talk to the administrators of the school. There's going to be some interesting information coming out about the poor conditions of our buildings. A number of our buildings are more than 50 years old. Some of them are even 80 years old. I can tell you, for one, Rodone Elementary School, they consolidated it down, and they consolidated it for money reasons, number one. But number two, you can go walk around that school on the inside and see the deteriorating conditions of the building. We have other buildings as part of the school facilities that have the same issue. And again, I would encourage everyone to get educated on this. There's going to be some videotaping done. We want to get the word out and make sure that everyone in this city knows about the conditions of those buildings. It's about a safe and productive learning environment for our children. And not only our children, but the children yet to come. It's our job. It's our legacy. We need to do the right thing. And yes, is it going to take money to do that? Absolutely. You know, at the end of the day, the state really only gives us a small portion of money to run our schools. I think it's somewhere around $650,000, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less. We have a budget of over $15 million every year. And I know being a taxpayer, a father of 4, a homeowner, I know what it's like. I've got parents that live in this city, so they know what it's like as well. We need to band together, we need to join together, and to do the right thing. And I'm asking for everyone's support. I'm asking for the mayor's support. I'm asking for all of the council members' support to do the right thing. Because if we don't, our property values, we've seen them decline over the last several years because of the economy. It's only going to get worse. The big thing behind a strong city are strong schools. Strong schools where our kids can learn and thrive and get prepared for the 21st century, the jobs that are out there. We need to arm them with the tools and the right learning environment. And in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of other people that are supporting this bond levy issue, we need better facilities for our children. You can look around Brooklyn. I just learned a week or so ago about Maple Heights and what they did. They're no bigger than the city of Brooklyn. You can look at Cuyahoga Heights, Independence, all of these surrounding communities that are the same size as Brooklyn or maybe even smaller. We need to band together as one, as a community, and do the right thing for the kids. I'll leave you with this. This is something that my old high school football coach told us many years ago. Jerry Younger, may his soul rest in peace. Brooklyn pride, citywide. We need to heed that right now and band together and support our kids. Thank you.
Does anyone else have anything to say for the good and welfare of the city of Brooklyn? Okay, we're going to be amending our agenda this evening. During our Finance Committee meeting, we started our talks on the budget, and one of our most expensive projects this year is going to be the roof replacement for City Hall. So we're hoping that if we are able to go out to bid early, that the price will come in somewhere between 10 and 20% below the bid, or I'm sorry, below the estimate. So we're going to amend our agenda to add the item to authorize going out for bids for the roof replacement of City Hall with an option for also over the old fire station. So we need a motion to amend the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
To amend the agenda, Kathy Pucci,
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk,
Yes.
Colleen Gallagher,
Yes.
Katie Gallagher,
Yes.
Kevin Tansky,
Yes.
Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Okay. Next, we'll move on to reports of committees, commissions, and boards, and we'll begin with the Finance Committee. We did begin our meeting early this evening to start addressing our 2013 permanent budget. We had one piece of legislation on the agenda this evening, and that is Ordinance 2013-4, which amends Section 1 of Ordinance 2000-63 entitled Establishing the Personnel for the Division of Fire within the Department of Public Safety of the City of Brooklyn. And this ordinance specifies that where it states that the public fire Division of Fire within the Department of Public Safety of the City of Brooklyn shall not exceed 40, and we're adding full-time firefighters. And this is to differentiate between our full-time firefighters and the part-timers that we have. So the Finance Committee did recommend that we pass that tonight. And we did begin our budget talks, and I'd like to thank Ms. Esere for all the information that she provided us. Before our next meeting, which is Monday, February 25th, we will also begin at 6 p.m. to continue these talks. And next we'll move on to the Recreation Board, which is chaired by Councilman Tansky.
Thank you, Mrs. Pucci. The next Recreation Board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, February 19th, 2013, 6:30 p.m. in the Mayor's Court. And I had a couple questions by residents. If Director McGinty can give us an update on the exercise weight room, where we're at with that, and also give us an update on the splash pad, where we're at with that. And finally, can you give us an update on Silver Sneakers on additional members coming in?
Excuse me, Mr. Tansky, is it okay if she does that during the director's report time?
That's fine.
Thank you.
That's fine. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next is domestic violence. Mrs. Colleen Gallagher.
Thank you. February is National Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month. An alarming number of teens experience and accept abusive behavior in dating relationships. 1 in 5 teens in a serious relationship report being slapped, pushed, or hit by a partner. If you are a victim or you know someone in an abusive relationship, you can contact the Domestic Violence and Child Advocacy Center at 216-229-8800 or visit their website at dvcac.org. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next is the Planning Commission. Mrs. Katie Gallagher.
Thank you. The Planning Commission met Thursday, February 7th and passed a request by U.S. Bank to install a 15.7 square foot LED illuminated sign on the building face to be located on the Walmart building at 1000 Brook Park Road for identification of a new tenant as permanent parcel 433-18006. Additionally, they passed a request from Aldi's to install 68.25 square foot combination cabinet and illuminated channel letter sign on the building front and side face located at 5170 Tiedemann Road for building face complete remodel. That's permanent parcel 433-17005. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to reports of council, and this evening we begin with Mr. DeMarco.
Okay, I did want to read an email. This resident was not able to make the meeting this evening. It's from Ronnie Moore at 4892 Summer Lane. He's the gentleman who had been coming to a few previous meetings regarding the railroad ties, et cetera, behind his house. It says, Dear Mr. DeMarco, I'd like to thank you, the mayor, city council, and especially Mr. Verba, the service director, and Mr. Clausen and the law department. The railroad ties have been removed. I know this could not have been accomplished without the diligence of the city. You should all be commended, and I appreciate it. I've also been notified that they are not required by law in Ohio to inform us of their present use or location. I, however, would like the city to ask those questions in the future and to ask them to notify us when work of this magnitude would be done in the city of Brooklyn and potentially the effects on their residents. I would also like, when Home Depot or Lowe's or anyone else sells these used railroad ties within the city limits, that a flyer accompany these selling of these products to disclose its dangers. Thank you for all your work. So I did just want to read that for Mr. Moore. As was mentioned by Mrs. Pucci, we did have the first go-through in our 2013 budget. I would like to publicly thank our finance director, who has spent many long hours preparing not only the budget itself, but many of the supporting documents that are part of the budget preparation process. I know this is a time-consuming effort, especially at the same time that the auditors are in the office, so I appreciate it. Mr. Gentili, I'd also like to thank you for coming up and making your comments. The City Council did have a joint meeting with the school board last Monday to discuss some of the financial issues facing our school system and our community. And I want to thank the superintendent and the school board for the invitation. As Mr. Gentili eloquently put it, these are very serious issues that need to be addressed. The independence of our schools and their positive impact on our community cannot be overstated. Finally, I'm going to talk about economic development again. I did meet with the mayor last week to talk about a variety of items, including economic development in our city or lack thereof. I also have an article here I'd like to hand out to all of council. If you could pass that way, please. Thank you, Ron. There's an article in the Sun Post last Thursday that discussed economic development efforts in the city of Independence. This city understands clearly the importance of economic development and planning for the city's future, and they are not facing any of the serious issues that we are facing in terms of potential revenue loss. In short order, they will have two full-time people working in economic development, plus an outside firm that they will engage to provide assistance to a city that has a third less population than Brooklyn. In my opinion, making this a priority will serve Independence well for many years to come, and is something that we need to do as quickly as possible. And if I could just read a little snippet out of the article. The City of Independence is close to choosing a company to help design an economic development plan. According to the request for proposals, the plan will formulate marketing strategies to attract new business and retain those already in the city, including identifying areas for development or redevelopment. It will also provide up-to-date data on the current economic base and in existing office buildings. And I would ask Mrs. Pucci, as our representative to the Economic Development Committee, to bring this topic up at their next meeting and see what progress can be made to make this a reality. My business sense tells me that doing nothing is not an option, and the residents expect more from us. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Van Kirk?
Thank you, Mrs. President. Good evening, and thank you once again for being part of our council meeting. As Mr. DeMarco already stated, we had a joint meeting last week with the Brooklyn City School Board. I appreciate Ms. Walker, Mr. Farring, and the entire school board inviting City Council and our mayor to participate in this joint meeting. I also appreciate the passion that the school board has for Brooklyn City Schools, and I share that passion. The bulk of the meeting was used to lay out the case for the bond levy and the tax increase through the May 7th bond issue. The meeting was very informative, and I hope that we'll have more such meetings before the vote on May 7th, and I hope that many of the residents will come out and listen to what the school board and council has to say during these meetings. You may recall that last year we voted off to pay a portion or pay off the debt that Brooklyn was rolling forward from year to year. I'm pleased to announce that we were able to pay that debt off with little effect on our general fund's budgeted bottom line. Last year we were able to not only pay off the debt, but we also purchased with cash and implemented a new garbage collection truck and cans. I know that this was a back and forth issue and a heated issue at times and was not popular with some at the time, but the numbers have come in, and as the dust settled, so to speak, it was definitely the right thing to do. We now have the 2013 budget ahead of us, and I look forward to working together in a fiscally responsible manner. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Mrs. Gallagher?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to School Board President Jim Oper and the members of the Brooklyn School Board for their invitation last Monday to discuss the financial situations for the schools. Our face-to-face meeting was very informative, and their goal was to provide honest and accurate information so we could understand the difficult decisions the schools are facing. I encourage all residents to contact your local school members if you have any questions regarding the school's financial situation. Mr. Verba, I received an email today, and it says, Colleen, over the past few months, I've noticed the automated trash vehicle making multiple passes and runs down Elizabeth Lane on unscheduled days. Today alone, I have seen the vehicle come down Elizabeth Lane twice. Our pickup day is Tuesday, so there's no reason it should be out on our street today and not on the scheduled route. I have brought this to the city's attention, but it still continues. This is a waste of taxpayers' money when the equipment is improperly used. If they finish early, there are plenty other things to work on rather than just drive around in an expensive piece of equipment, wasting gas and manpower. Please see what you can do to stop this activity, as I know you want this new system to work efficiently. Thanks. Do we know why the truck has been going down unscheduled trips?
I believe that this resident contacted me the day after Christmas, and we sent it down there because the residents didn't know that the rubbish was going to be that day, so we sent that truck down again, and that was the reason it was sent down there that day twice. Okay. This resident I know is not for the program. If this is the same resident that I believe is probably emailing you now. Okay. I don't know why it went down today twice.
Can you find out?
I'll try to find out.
Okay, I'll give you the email.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you can contact this person. And then Mayor Rich Belbeer will give his annual State of the City address on Friday, February 15th at 7 o'clock p.m. for the Brooklyn Democratic Club at the Brooklyn Senior Community Center. All residents are welcome. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Mrs. Katie Gallagher?
I have no report.
Mr. Tansky?
Thank you. Good evening. I just want to thank the school board for having council present on explaining the levy bond issue. I also would like to thank our finance director for working very hard and diligently on our budget. And I also want to thank Mr. Gentili on his thoughts and comments on the school system. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Mr. Murphy?
I have no report.
Okay, and I just have a brief report. The Brooklyn Community Improvement Corporation met Wednesday, February 6th, and the purpose of the meeting was to meet with the new broker from NAI DOS. This is in regards to the property at the corner of Memphis and Ridge. There's a new broker. Her name is Deborah Maggard, and we agreed to extend the contract for another 6 months. The initial 6 months had expired. I think the members of the CIC were confident that this particular broker was going to be a lot more aggressive in marketing this property. And after an in-depth discussion that included looking at comparable other sales, we did agree to lower the price to $125,000 for that corner piece of property. The Safe Routes to School Committee has a meeting scheduled tomorrow, February 12th at 7:30 a.m. in the library conference room at Brook Ridge. As several of my colleagues mentioned, last Monday evening we did have a joint council school board meeting. I would like to thank the school board and the treasurer, Marty Farian, and the superintendent, Mrs. Walker, for inviting us. I felt that it was very informative. Our schools are at a crossroads, and this is really a critical point for not only our schools but our community. I would encourage everyone, if you have any questions at all, contact a school board member, contact the superintendent, contact the treasurer. Get your questions answered. This is a critical issue facing our community, and I'd like to thank Mr. Gentili for his comments this evening also. Regarding Economic Development Committee, I also have been pushing for the same thing that Mr. DeMarco mentioned, moving forward with some sort of outside assistance, a marketing firm, someone that can help us strategically put together a plan to market our city to businesses, and I will bring that up. It was already on my list to bring it up at the next meeting, which is this Friday. And that completes my report. Next, we'll move on to, one more thing. My husband and I had the pleasure of attending the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce Taste of Jazz this past Saturday night. This is a wonderful program that benefits the scholarship fund that the Chamber provides to Brooklyn students who are attending college. They had a record attendance and a record setting the profits that they made. It was really a great turnout. We sat at a table with some wonderful residents and a business owner. So I'd just like to thank the Chamber for all the work they do, and especially for the scholarships that they provide to our young people. And that concludes my report. Next, we'll have the mayor, Mayor Bellbeer.
Thank you, Mrs. Pucci. I also was at that Taste of Brooklyn. They had 175 people there, and they took in $4,700, which is by far their biggest turnout. So that was good. The city of Brooklyn belongs to the First Suburbs Consortium, and we are the 19 cities that surround the city of Cleveland. So we all have a lot of similar problems. But we represent 480,000 residents, our 19 cities. So we represent more people than live in the city of Cleveland. So we think when we say something, at least the county should listen to us. So we had this meeting about housing because the county's going to put together some kind of housing thing. We wanted to get our input. So all of us have about the same type of problems. And one of the big thing is when you have a house under foreclosure or abandoned home or something, we have a very hard time a lot of times finding who owns the property. So one of our suggestions to the county is going to be the title has to go through the county. When it changes ownership, they have to come up with a name or a phone number or an address where the local cities can get a hold of these people, because we all have the same problems when you start talking. You can't find the owner. So we made a lot of suggestions like this. We also wanted to make sure they keep in place the funding for the land bank. And the land bank tears down homes. We haven't had any homes torn down in Brooklyn, but a lot of cities have. The only thing we've used them for was at the old library. They gutted the inside for us before we made the sale. And by the way, that's going to open up next month. It's supposed to be really nice inside for that daycare. And the other time we used them was a couple of buildings behind the old animal shelter they tore down for us. So it's a good project. We want to make sure they keep that funded. Like Mrs. Gallagher said, I'm going to give the State of the City address on Thursday to the Chamber of Commerce and on Friday to the Democratic Party, and it's open to the public. But if you miss those, I'm also going to give one at the library on March 7th, and that's also open to the public. Last year, the state had House Bill 601 that pertains to the municipal income tax. The state wants to take over that municipal income tax, or at least collect it from the cities. And I haven't met a mayor yet that's for this. We're violently against it. I shouldn't say violently, but we're against it. And it's now been introduced as House Bill 5. So we're going to pass another resolution here, maybe next council meeting or the one after, not that we're against House Bill 5. I've been elected to the executive committee of the First Suburbs, and we're putting together a program too. We're going to have a press release on the steps of Cleveland City Hall, also protesting this, and other organizations like us in Toledo and Hamilton County and Cincinnati and Columbus, they're also going to do this. I haven't met a mayor yet that's for it, so I don't know where they're getting all their backing from. We agree that it should be the same type of form across the state, but not they shouldn't collect it, and each city should be allowed to have their own set of rules for collecting. Rita collects ours. And the last time I checked last year, because of this, if it passes the way it is, we'd lose over $200,000. I don't know what's going to be under this new House Bill 5, but I presume it'll be about the same. And one of the big leaders against this is the mayor of Lakewood, Mike Summers. And he set up a website where all this information, we all send it there. So if you want to look on this website, you can get all the information you need about this. And it's www.ohiomuniadvocates.com. I was informed today that Brooklyn received a certificate of achievement for excellent financial reporting, and it's presented to the city of Brooklyn. And also, the way it reads, it goes: the certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting has been awarded to the city of Brooklyn by the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada for its comprehensive annual financial report, the CAFR. The Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in the area of government accounting and financial reporting. Its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by a government and its management. An award of financial reporting achievement has been awarded to the individual, department, or agency designated by the government as the primary responsibility for preparing the award-winning CAFR. This has been presented to Jenny Essere, our finance director. So I'd like to thank her for all the effort you put into it. And it continues: the CAFR has been judged by an impartial panel to meet the high standards of the program, including demonstrating a constructive spirit of disclosure to clearly communicate its financial story and motivate potential users and users groups to read the CAFR. The GFOA is a nonprofit professional association serving approximately 17,500 government financial professionals with offices in Chicago and Washington, D.C. So Brooklyn's honored to receive this, but I want to give all my credit to my finance director who put this together. So congratulations, Jen.
If I may be recognized, thank you. If I may be. Mayor, thank you so much. I also, I couldn't do it without my finance staff, so I wanted to just thank Joanne Haig, Linda Kelber, and Tina Westfall. They put a lot of work and effort into it as well, and I wanted to thank them. So thank you, Mayor.
Is that okay? Next, we'll move on to directors' reports, and this evening we have one from Recreation Acting Manager, Mrs. McGinty.
Good evening. Youth soccer registration will be held Tuesday, February 12th from 5:30 to 7:30 and Saturday, February 23rd from 10 a.m. to noon. The cost is $55 for residents and $60 for non-residents. Mr. Tansky, as for your questions this evening, Silver Sneakers has increased. I cannot give you a number, but as of January 1st, Kaiser Permanente was added to the Silver Sneakers list. So since January 1st, we've had some new registrants. The weight room will be going out to bid this Thursday and bid opening February 28th. And we've had a pre-bid meeting for the splash pad. I don't have the exact date. I believe bids will be going out mid-March, and tentative date to be finished is June 12th. Any other questions?
Just, can you get the numbers and the members? I know you don't have it tonight on the Silver Sneakers.
I'll give you the report like I get every month. I haven't gotten the January report yet, so I can't issue it to you. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Mrs. McGinty. Okay, we'll move on with our agenda. The first item will be the item that we added to the agenda, and that will be to authorize our service director to go out for bids for the roof replacement of City Hall, and with an option of including the portion of the roof that's over the old fire station. We need a motion to authorize.
Motion authorized.
Second.
To authorize, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Okay, next we have a request for council confirmation for similar conditional use for Gold's Gym. Dear members of council, the Planning Commission at its regular meeting on January 30th, 2013, granted a similar conditional use approval for Mr. Patrick Fernandez, DBA Gold's Gym, located at 6700 Bidoff Road. The Planning Commission determined that the gym is similar to Section Schedule 1121.024A, Commercial, Entertainment, Recreational. This approval by the Planning Commission now requires confirmation by a majority vote by council pursuant to Section 1141.02A5. Sincerely, Edward Fitzgerald, Acting Building Commissioner. Mr. Fitzgerald did provide us with a little bit more information. This will be an express gym, which does not include basketball or swimming. The hours of operation are from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., 7 days a week. Peak time for customers is between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. There will be 7 to 10 employees, but not more than 2 at a time. A complete interior remodel will be done, and a projected opening date is sometime this summer. So we need a motion to grant the similar conditional use.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
To approve, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Okay, next we have ordinance number 2013-4, amending section 1 of ordinance 2063, entitled Establishing the Personnel for the Division of Fire within the Department of Public Safety of the City of Brooklyn.
Introduce by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Tom Murphy.
Yes.
To adopt, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Okay, before we adjourn into executive session, does any member of council or the mayor have anything further they'd like to say?
Mayor?
Okay, yes, Mrs. Gallagher.
Mayor, what time is your State of the City address at the library?
I believe it's like 7 at night. I'm not positive, but I think so. And I made sure that it's open to the public, and she says, yes, they want it open to the public. That's on March 7th, I believe.
Right.
Okay, and maybe we could put that on the website, too.
Yes. I
Okay.
think we did, but I'll check.
Okay. The mayor has requested that council go into executive session to discuss potential litigation relating to our landfill, and that would be with the mayor, the law director, finance director, outside counsel, and Mayor, do you want the service director in there?
No, he doesn't have to be in there.
Okay. So we need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
To adjourn to executive session, Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Colin?
I'm sorry. Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Tom Murphy.
Yes.
And just for the public's information, we anticipate taking no action when we return other than to reconvene and then adjourn our regular meeting.